fine feathers. As the cold grip of winter tightened over Never Never Land, everything seemed to freeze in place. The once bustling jungle now stood silent and still, with frost covering the branches like delicate lace, and the wind howling through the trees, making the whole land feel as if it had turned to ice. The Lost Boys, usually so full of energy, huddled around the fire, trying their best to stay warm. Even Peter Pan, who prided himself on never feeling the cold, couldn't help but shiver as he tucked his knees under his chin. Wendy, ever the caretaker, did her best to keep the fire burning brightly and to make sure everyone was as comfortable as possible. But the cold was hardest on Tinker Bell. The tiny fairy, with her delicate wings, couldn't withstand the chill like the others. She fluttered about, shivering uncontrollably, her bell ringing faintly each time she sneezed. A tissue, she would sneeze, her little wings trembling as she fought to stay warm. Peter, though he tried to mask his concern, couldn't help but notice his friend's suffering. "She looks miserable," he said softly to Wendy, who was wrapped in a thick shawl, keeping an eye on everyone. "I know," Wendy replied, her heart aching for the little fairy. "But she's so tiny, she can't handle these cold winds. I wish there was something I could do." Just then, Tiger Lily appeared at the entrance of the Lost Boys' hideout. The Red Indian girl was pulling a sledge behind her, stacked high with thick furs. The sight of the warm, plush furs brought a collective sigh of relief from the group, and Peter, always one to joke, grinned. Well, he said, putting on his bravest face. "We might just need those furs to survive this winter after all." Tiger Lily smiled as she pushed the sledge closer to the fire. "These are from my father, the Indian chief. He sent them for all of you. They'll keep you warm." Everyone cheered, thanking Tiger Lily for the thoughtful gift, but Wendy's smile quickly faded as she looked at Tinker Bell. The poor fairy had just sneezed again, and the cold had made her wings almost impossible to flap. Wendy shook her head, a soft sigh escaping her lips. "These furs are perfect for all of us," she said, "but Tinker Bell's so small. She can't wear something as heavy as this. She needs something light, something soft and warm." Tiger Lily looked at Tinker Bell, who was shivering and clutching her wings tightly to her body. "I see what you mean," she said, her brow furrowing in thought. Then her face lit up with an idea, all help. "I know where to find what you need." Without waiting for a response, Tiger Lily ran out into the snow-covered forest, calling softly to her friends the birds. They fluttered down from the trees, their feathers puffed up against the cold. The birds chirped excitedly, circling around Tiger Lily, ready to help. Tiger Lily spoke to them in the gentle language of the forest, and one by one, the birds began to drop their feathers. Some were soft and fluffy, others were delicate and downy, all perfect for making something light and warm for Tinker Bell. The birds chirped happily as they fluttered around, watching their feathers fall like snowflakes to the ground. Wendy hurried to gather the feathers as they fell. She collected them carefully, smiling at the thought of how much Tinker Bell would appreciate such a cozy gift. Tiger Lily continued to watch over her as she worked, her face lit with pride at how the forest creatures had come together to help. "I think this will be perfect," Winnie said, holding up the handkerchiefs she had brought with her. "I'll sew them together to make a little bag and stuff the feathers inside." With deft fingers, Winnie sewed the handkerchiefs into a small, soft bag. As she filled it with the downy feathers, she could already imagine how warm it would make Tinker Bell feel. Once the bag was full, Winnie tied it tightly, ensuring the feathers wouldn't escape. "It's finished!" Winnie exclaimed, holding the tiny eiderdown up for everyone to see. The small bag was soft and fluffy, light as a cloud, and just the right size for Tinker Bell. Tinker Bell fluttered over, her eyes bright with excitement. "Oh, Wendy, it's perfect!" she cried, touching the eiderdown with her tiny hands. "I'll be so warm." Peter, ever the playful one, puffed out his chest. "Well, I must say, Wendy, you're almost as clever as me," he crowed, making everyone laugh. His tone was full of teasing, but his admiration for Wendy was clear. Tinker Bell wrapped herself in the cozy eiderdown, the soft feathers immediately making her feel warmer. She snuggled into the tiny bed of feathers, feeling the coldness of winter melt away. Her bell rang more clearly now, its chime full of contentment. "Thank you, Wendy," Tinker Bell chirped, her voice no longer weak and shivery but bright and full of joy. "Thank you, Tiger Lily," she fluttered about the room, showing off her new warm covering. As the days passed, the winds continued to howl outside, but inside the Lost Boys' home, everyone was warm and safe. Tinker Bell, wrapped in her eiderdown, didn't catch another cold the entire winter. She flitted about, playing with the lost boys, her wings sparkling in the firelight. The others noticed how much happier she seemed, and it wasn't long before they all gathered together, enjoying the warmth and the kindness that had brought them through the coldest part of the season. Wendy, sitting beside the fire, looked at her friends with a contented smile. She knew that kindness had made all the difference, that sometimes the smallest acts of love and care could change everything. And in Never Never Land, even the coldest winters were softened by the warmth of friendship. The days grew longer, the winds grew gentler, and the forest began to hint at the arrival of spring. But for now, Never Never Land remained a place of warmth and laughter, all thanks to the thoughtful hearts of those who cared for one another. And so, Tinker Bell never caught another cold that winter. The Lost Boys played, Peter teased, Tiger Lily visited often, and Wendy, with her cleverness and kindness, had once again helped to make the world a little warmer.